Well, hello, we're back.
Welcome everybody. Welcome to our Periscope chat here. We have a beautiful couple glasses of white wine. And my name is Ryan Moses, and I have Harley Hoffman with me here. We're just going to discover a little bit about Rhys, their Horseshoe Vineyard Chardonnay, and decanting white wines.
Decanting white wine.
Decanting white wine.
Exploring it.
So, Rhys is the star of the show here today. Their focus is on the vineyard, and you can see that anywhere from the back of the bottle has vineyard spacing, has all the details about how they grow, the varietals they use, the clones they use, and it's really, really cool how they just focus on having an expression of the vineyard show up in the glass. It's also a wine that is, many people will compare it to some of the best of France. Anyone from John Gilman, A View from the Cellar, who calls it like a Chardonnay Montrachet, to Antonio Galloni, to Jeff Dunnick, to even Alan Meadows of Berghound. This is one of his favorite Chardonnays. So again, very much vineyard-forward style of winemaking, organic, biodynamic. They don't take the time to be certified or put it on the bottle. It's more important that what they're doing in the vineyard shows up. And from what I hear, it's some amazing stuff, and that's why we're popping this bottle. This is also on our specials page, which we set up. I think there's a promo code on the page there.
Autumn 15% off all the wines.
Where
that are listed on the page.
Where are folks going to find the specials?
Offers, or vinfolio.com/offers/special inventory, I believe is what it is.
If you just go to the Vinfolio website,
It keeps getting refreshed.
click on the specials link, and you'll see it.
So this is one of the more silly deals here because we're pretty much at market low on this wine, and then 15% off on the 4 bottles that we have in stock. And we have a wonderful assortment of Rhys wines, which I think are just world class. The other thing we did today is I have 2 glasses for everybody. I decanted, I poured some in one glass, and the other one I decanted the bottle and then poured it in the other glass. So we're going to determine whether or not we like one or the other better, or if we care, or what have you. I mean, if I was drinking this at home, I don't know if I'd decant it, but it's still a fun experiment to have. So,
This is something we haven't tried before.
Yeah.
Yes.
We
have tried decanting whites, but we haven't tried this in a live
in a closed setting.
testing ourselves here.
So why would you decant a white in the first place? Don't you usually decant reds?
Sure. Well, it's a wine evolves with oxygen, and that's part of the evolution of any wine in the bottle or out of the bottle. So there's no reason you wouldn't do it with a white than with a red. You will get a lot more, I don't know, I hope pure expression of the wine, but we'll see. Let's see.
Cool.
Let's try it. And Peter, you have to play 2. I have one of each for you, so you have to tell. And this is, again, blind tasting is not about being right or wrong. It's about finding favorites, finding preferences, and learning the language. I think that's a big point about blind tasting is everyone tries to figure out what exactly they're tasting and feel like. Some people are great tasters and other people aren't great tasters, but the most important thing is figuring out what you like, and then the other part of it is that tasting and blind tasting and wine tasting is a practice. It's anything that you try to aspire to do well. You put a lot of effort into.
Peter, you want to grab one of those?
Right. So we're grabbing left or right first? Which one do we go for?
Let's see. We're going left or right here. So we're going no sticker. I have a sticker to designate.
So with a sticker?
There's a sticker on one of them.
Okay.
So we're doing sticker or no sticker first?
Either one.
Okay.
Either one.
You want no sticker? Harley's going sticker.
So, the wine itself, beautiful acidity, great minerality. I can see how people would confuse this with Burgundy if tasted blind. If you ever want any information, any detail on the Rhys wines, because if you haven't tasted through them or studied them, they might seem a little bit mysterious. They're Santa Cruz mountain wines made near Mountain Eden wines or some of the ridge wines, and the website is unbelievable. Besides the soil types and the vineyard descriptions, you can talk about weather patterns compared to Burgundy and Barolo and everything. So really complex. What do you think of the wines?
So I think the one on the right, still a little deep in the glass. Sticker is still a little deep in the glass. Doesn't feel like I think the non-stickers decanted, that one is already, you can smell it when you get a little closer right here. It almost actually feels like a little of the
play.
plate.
Say that till we tried it.
I'm just saying my guess. You can guess whatever you want.
You're giving us a bias already, huh?
I feel like the flavor profile of the non-sticker has left a little bit, which is starting to make me think if I would decant white wine or not. Well, then again, it depends, right? I mean, if you have, a Chardonnay that's 4 years old from Central Coast, California, would you do that? Or not Central Coast, I guess, just south of the city.
Yeah, Santa Cruz.
Santa Cruz.
How long were these decanted for?
Oh, just splash decanted, so put in the decanter and pour it into the glass. Yeah. I find it makes a difference, and it changes the wine. Mm-hmm. And finding out if you want to decant your whites or your reds, it depends on the age. It depends on how you enjoy your wines. If you're going to have 30 people over and you have a bunch of bottles of wine, if you do a little splash decant and pour it for them as opposed to pouring it right out of the bottle. Some people think that if you are too rough with the wine, it takes away some of the elegance.
Also depends on how you like your wine.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. But I've had some wines that are sort of in that either not ready to drink yet or in that range where I think this one is, where you could open it and enjoy, or it will age beautifully for another 10 years. We're sort of in that barrier where you're not really sure if it's ready to be there or not, where a decant helps sort of expose the wine. Do you taste the difference between the two, Peter?
Thoughts on it as you're double fisting over there? There's no right or wrong answer.
It's a
well, there is, but I'm actually starting to second guess myself a little bit. But
I can't tell.
Okay, that's fine.
To me, I felt like when I started tasting them, I tasted a little difference. Maybe the non-sticker one, I don't know, had a little more bite to it. Yeah, that's the right expression.
Bite.
And this is also the first. Fortunately or unfortunately, this is the first wine we've tasted today, so we don't know. We're also acclimating our palates while we're doing this. The one that we have, our little sticker on here, went straight from the bottle, and this came from the decanter, the one that doesn't.
Is that what you thought, Harley?
Yeah.
That's what he initially said, and then started second guessing himself. That's also one of the big rules of wine tasting.
Never second guess yourself.
Because I find that the more you think about it, the more you overthink about it.
Your first taste is the right taste.
Exactly. Well, it doesn't necessarily always mean you're right, but the more time you have to think about it and second guess yourself doesn't necessarily mean you're making a better decision.
Yeah, I started going kind of deep on both of them.
At least you can control all your answers if you just always go with your first instinct.
I think one thing is for sure, this is a pretty great Chardonnay. This is really the upper echelon of definitely Santa Cruz mountains, but also of California in general. I think the price point rewards what's in the bottle, especially if you're able to snag some of these that are on the specials page at finfolio.com. We have a lot of other fun wines there, and we don't always taste wines from this category, but I think it's just one of those things that isn't necessarily out in front of people, but there's some really great opportunities, and when you're looking to get an introduction to Rhys or build your collection, they have some phenomenal wines, and that's part of the selection.
I'm saying great acidity on it for sure.
Yeah,
and there's no oak, right?
No oak
on this?
No, there are some. They actually work with their own. They work with their own coopers. They air dry the barrels for 4 years. It's every part of the winemaking process is really, really manicured. They make sure that 75% of the land that they're farming is just grown in. That it's not planted with vineyards. So there's very little part that's planted in vineyards. They make sure that they're also farming the land. That there's wild animals on the land. So it's a very integrated process. And depending on your sort of perspective on things, I really also respect that they do all of this not as marketing, not to get a certification on the bottle, but just because they think it is, in their experiences, that it makes a more refined and more beautiful wine at the end. Very modest alcohol, very Burgundian in character, but it definitely has a sense of place and shown beautifully right now. In the glass or in the decanter?
In the glass for me.
In the glass for me. Decanter for me. I think it's expressing itself a little bit better, but it's a little nitpicky with a wine like this. It's pretty expressive right out of the bottle. So very impressive. Great wine. Great ratings across the board, and I can see why it's why it's so adored.
Awesome. All right. Happy tasting.
Happy tasting.
On to
Cheers.
the next
Thanks
one.
for joining
See you guys
us.
next time.
Dude, you guys went in.